What's up, guys? It's your boy, the Iconic Knight. Long time no see. Welcome back to the channel. It has been a good minute since we made a video. I've been trying to record this specific video in many different ways, and my computer, my laptop, the laptop that I use to kind of get footage recorded, and freaking, it's just been giving me a litany of problems. So I thought, fuck it, I'm just gonna record this the good old-fashioned way. But we're gonna jump right into it. Right, we're gonna cover center fed rooms. Now I'm gonna attack this door in two ways. So we're gonna attack it from the handle side and then from the non-handle side, and I'll kind of show you step by step how to go through the whole process in terms of solo CQ being a room, how you would clear this room by yourself from either side. So starting with the handle side, this is the door that we're choosing to approach. So we're going to approach this from the handle side. Okay, I'm going to get up close. You can peek the door, and that's going to give you the ability to lean. Right, you're going to lean, check for traps, make sure that it's all clear. If you don't have a single visual of an enemy between there, you're good to go. You're going to reestablish your position on the opposite side here, and then you're going to swing open the door. And when you swing open the door, you're going to take a few steps back, and you're going to let this room breathe. Alright, so letting the room breathe is basically you're giving the room time to feed yourself information, mostly auditory. So you're going to be using your listening skills to hear if there's anything going on in this room. If you hear shuffling, movement, footsteps, weapon manipulations, this is the time you let, while letting the room breathe, this is the time you're going to use to gather that information if you do hear anything. All right, so you swing open the door, you take a few steps back, let the room breathe. Maintain aim at the door in the event someone runs out. You want to make sure that you're aiming at the door frame at all times. But letting the room breathe is only going to take 2 to 3 seconds. All right, so once you've kind of established or gathered as much information as you can, if there was any presented to you, you're going to slowly make your way back to the threshold here, and then you're going to pie off the room. So you can lean. And it's really good to do this with your gun canted and not fully aimed, because I feel like this obstructs your view. You kind of have to put the red dot on a target. But here it gives you a lot more field of view to look for identifying factors, whether they be arms, boots, guns, or anything that's going to identify a threat. But with this, you know, you've got the sight, you've got your hand, the bottom of the gun could be blocking really important information, as opposed to this, which gives you a better view. So I usually like to just creep along with the pie, and if I feel like I see, let's say this is like the end of a gun barrel or something like that, then I'm going to lock aim on it and expect something to my left as I keep pieing to appear there. Okay, so you're going to slowly pie off the room. You're going to attack this easy corner right here, which in definition is just a corner that you can clear from outside the threshold, right? You don't have to enter the room to clear that corner. So that's the first easy corner that you can clear. And then you're going to keep pieing off until you hit this 90-degree angle, which is right about here. For a better visual representation, you'll start by clearing the top right easy corner from outside the threshold. And when ready, you'll move further into the doorway, going counterclockwise, pieing off the room until you hit the 90-degree angle. So once you hit the 90, as opposed to the center fed room, or excuse me, as opposed to the corner fed room that we covered last time, where you kind of held this position as you cleared, you kind of stood basically at the door frame. You don't want to do that in this circumstance. So what I like to do, and that's because there's with this one you can get away with it because there's a wall on this side, kind of blocking any threats from you know, coming from your right side. But there's a whole bunch of dead space behind this door, right? We don't know what's here. We don't know if there's one or two enemies, if there's another door on the other side that an enemy or a threat can come through. It's too risky. So I don't want to expose myself while looking here and having my whole right side exposed. So what I'm going to do is, once I attack that 90, I'm going to then pan to the other side of this doorway, right? We don't want to stay here. We've got the 90-degree angle. This chunk of the room is already cleared. We want to move on and make sure we can clear the left while also remaining in a safe position. So we're going to pan. So panning is basically you release the lean. You can go back to your regular aim, and then you're going to pan like this. And in that time, right, a pan is basically you're moving in sort of a kind of a curved motion here, not just directly side to side. You want to move in a curve because then it gives you the better ability to analyze this room. You'll be further into your room, so if you do take shots, you're not just pinned up against cover where you can get shot from. You're maintaining a little more safe distance from that door. So panning is just the act of, while moving, you're going to be basically curving this way. Okay? So you get the 90, and then you can start panning. Boom. And in that time, while I switched over, now I've cleared the second half of the room. Right? Starting from the 90-degree angle, you'll pan over to the other side of the threshold, clearing the room as you get to the top left easy corner. And assuming that this wall right here was further back, and these boxes weren't here, a good point of thumb is to kind of lean into the wall. So I'll show you what it looks like from this side, right? You would lean into wall to gather just a little more information than you initially had, right? And then that's going to give you a little bit of a deeper peek into what we call a hard corner, right? Now, this isn't necessarily a hard corner because we know that it stops right here, right? This is already cleared. Unless you're like a stick figure or a slice of paper, you're not really going to be able to hide in this little slither of a corner right here. But assuming that the wall was deeper into the room, that would be defined as a hard corner. And I'm going to show you another example of that when we tackle the opposite side. Now, in most cases, hard corners are not going to be able to be cleared from outside the threshold, but there are a few things that you can do to help you gather as much information on this hard corner as you can from outside the threshold. So step one would be to move further back into the wall that you are already taking cover in, so the angle from the outside becomes more narrow and you can see deeper into that corner. And to give yourself just a little extra of a peek, you want to lean into the wall as well, and that's going to give you as much visibility into that hard corner as possible. But when looking, you're going to be looking for identifying factors: hands, feet, weapons, things like that, anything pointing towards a human being. If you feel like the space that you're looking at is too small to hide a human being, then you could assume that that hard corner is clear. Now, since you've panned over to this side, you've lost visual of the room, right? So you're not just going to come back to this position and assume that what you initially cleared is still cleared, because as you came over here and your vision became obstructed with this wall, that gave opportunity for maybe an enemy that was, let's say, sitting on this side of the room outside of our view to run over here. And now as you pan and you come back to this position thinking that it's all clear, boom, they've got the drop on you. They got a good angle on you. So you're not just going to assume that that's still clear. So you're going to, boom, clear this corner, and then you're going to pie off the room once again. All right, pie it off, pie it off, pie it off, pie it off. Get to that 90. Once you clear that 90, you're going to do another pan to the opposite side of the room. And now you've cleared this section twice. So you know 100% that there's no threat from this laser all the way to the left. And then this door is not in play right now. Assume that this is a wall going across, right? You came here. There's no potential threat from this side because it's already cleared unless somebody's hiding behind these boxes right here. But let's say this clutter is not here either. It's just a blank slate. You've cleared all of this already. So now you know that the only threat that can attack you is from this laser on to the right. Behind this. Now, after you attack and clear the 90-degree angle, you're going to pan over to the left side of the threshold, clearing that top right easy corner. Now, what's marked in green will now be declared as cleared space. What's marked in red is declared as unknown and uncleared space. Everything behind the door is now dead space. So you don't know what's behind there, whether there's a threat, whether there's another doorway. So this now will become the priority, which means to clear this dead space, we now have to enter the room behind this door, which is dead space. So you're going to hold this angle here, and you're going to enter the room with your back to this wall, and you're going to move into the wall so you can get a deeper look at the angle. You don't want to move here because now you have exposed yourself to too much, right? Let's say if somebody's hiding behind this door, now they've seen the barrel of your gun, they're going to pre-fire, whatever the case is, or now you've exposed yourself to this guy here, and you're kind of stuck in between the threshold and a lot of open space. So you want to make sure that you get out of the threshold as quickly as possible, so back to the wall, and then you dictate how quickly you're going to expose yourself to these angles, right? So we've cleared all of this already, and now you can just slowly pan over, check that it's clear, and you're good to go. What I don't recommend is that as you slowly clear these angles here, that you slowly do it while standing in the fatal funnel. I don't recommend that, because while you're focused here, if an enemy was to flank you from this side, let's say this is the hallway, and you've got an enemy coming from the hallway that you just entered the doorway from, and you're in the middle of the doorway looking at a different angle, boom, you're an easy target, right? Let's say this is a guy that's flanked up, and you're focused here, moving so slow and methodical, and now you're in the fatal funnel in his direct line of fire. So you want to make sure that when you enter this room, everything is not super fast, but smooth and swift. Back to the wall. Slowly expose, slowly expose, slowly expose, right? I'm out of the fatal funnel, so I can do that. I'm hugging against the wall. But once I know that I'm gonna pass this line right here, I want my movements to be swift, right? I'm gonna see as much as I can. Okay, cool. All I have is this slither behind the door, so we're going to take that nice and smooth. Boom, boom, boom. So if there is someone flanking, you're gonna be able to hear their footsteps. You're going to be able to kind of get the upper hand on this guy. Let's say he's flanking and his intention is to come in the room, right? Because he hears gunfire. Boom, boom, boom. I shoot this guy, and then you hear somebody coming. You want to face the doorway that you just came through, right? Assuming that this right here is a wall. I got my back against the wall. We've already cleared this portion of the room. The only way a threat can get me is from the door, the threshold that I just crossed. After I clear this, you're going to kind of get your aim back on that door. You're going to readjust your aim and your focus back to the threshold. So let's go over it again here, right? Expose, expose, expose. Quickly pan over. Boom, boom, boom. Target down. You're going to aim here. When you're aiming here, if you do hear footsteps, you're going to be able to see the barrel of the gun first. You're going to be able to anticipate when they enter based on the amount of noise that they're making. And that person that's flanking now has to clear this room just like you did. All right, you could, if you have space, right? If this stuff wasn't here, you could hide a little deeper towards the wall. Hide a little deeper towards the wall. Get behind the door. Use this as concealment. And when their barrel comes through, then you can light them up. But it's going to put you in a position of dominance, in a way better, more advantageous position in the event that someone flanks you.
So
Okay?
now you're going to enter this room attacking that hard left corner. Now, assuming you already peeked the hard corner and feel like there is nobody there, you can enter the room with your back towards the hard corner, barrel facing the side of dead space. If you feel like there's a possibility that there may be someone in the hard corner still, give it a quick peek once you enter, attack it, and once it's cleared, hit the 180 and then point your barrel towards the dead space. After you completed that step, you're going to continue aiming towards the dead space. You're going to initiate the pan to the other side of the room until it is completely cleared. Once cleared, you're going to readjust your aim back to the threshold and prepare for the exit.
Okay? So now that's the step-by-step portion of it. We're going to go through the whole walkthrough from the door side. All right, so this is a smooth walkthrough in full. This is how it would work. Let the room breathe. Pie it off, pie it off, pie it off. Easy corner cleared. 90's cleared. Quick pan. That corner's good to go. Pie off, pie off, pie off. Second easy corner cleared. Target down. Pan over. Move in, back against the wall. Expose, expose, expose. Once you commit to this threshold here, nice and swift. And then get your aim back on that threshold. Make sure that no one's flanking and there's no other threats that are going to get you from behind. Now that's how you clear from the door handle side. Now we're going to do it from the opposite side of the door handle. And this right here, we're going to enter from this side of the door. Just so you see how it's done. So you're going to come here, opposite side of the doorknob, right? I wouldn't attack it from the doorknob on this side because I got a wall here, right? There's not much space for me to work with. I don't want to be too congested and kind of, you know, sucked into a corner here. If there's high rates of fire coming through this threshold, there's literally nowhere for me to go. Like all this area I can't utilize because now I've trapped myself in a corner. So I would never take this handle side in the event that you don't have enough space to work with, right? But we got space to work with. Even with this here, we've got a lot of space to work with. I can move back. I can get out of here. There's a lot of space to work with. So we're gonna here post up to the side of the door. And what I don't want you to do is do this. I don't need you crossing the fatal funnel to open the door. You can do it safely from this position behind the door frame. Okay, so you can creep up close enough to peek from the door. You could even get in a little further and then just lean. If you lean forward, your character is going to be able to open the knob there. Boom, you're going to be able to check for traps. See if there's any targets that you could quickly identify. If there's nothing, swing the door open, step back, let the room breathe. Okay. Easy corners cleared. Then you're going to be able to lean into the wall to kind of get a little more view. And what you're going to be looking for is, you know, boots. There's definitely enough space for a human being to hide in this corner. You're going to be looking for those identifying factors. Boots, hands, feet, guns, barrels, anything, hostages. You're going to want to look for something, some sort of identifying factor to give you a little bit of information. If you don't see anything, it doesn't mean that this corner is not clear. It just means you don't see anything. So don't fully assume. Okay? But we've cleared most of what we can see already. So now we're going to then attack the 90. So attacking the 90. Leaning, pieing off the room. Boom, I have a target in my sights. Boom. Target down. Attack the 90. Boom, we're at the 90, right? So we got a target. down. We've got the easy corner cleared. A good chunk of this room has already been cleared. So same step as before. You're going to pan over and clear what we can, right? So nice and slow, nice and slow. Now that we've cleared this, we don't need to pan over again. So once you're in this position and you pan over to this side, we don't need to pan over again. All right, we've attacked the 90. We took out the target inside here. We took out the easy corner. And then we ended up panning right here to this side of the door frame. So you're going to pause right here. All right, and it's really dependent on how much space you have to work with. But you can pause right here. Why? Because we have a door frame. Right? We can't see into this hard corner even if we tried. So there's no, it's not necessary to get out of view. Because then at this point, you'd have to pie the room all over again. Right? Because here, Mr. Hey, I want to hide behind doors could now have, you know, silently moved over to this side. And then you have to kind of go through that whole process again. But because we know there's a door here, right? And we're concealed from this hard corner and any threat that'd be to our left, we can just hold this position, this aiming position right here, right? We panned over, and in the midst of the panning over, no one's going to be able to pass your barrel without you noticing. It's just impossible unless they're invisible. But while you pan this, no one's going to be able to skirt by and scurry along and run to the other side without you noticing. So you're going to hold this position here, right? And then at this point, it's really a matter of your discretion. Based on the information you gathered, with your eyes, with your ears, what do you think is the highest threat level to you? Right? It's most likely behind here. Right? Most people don't hide in the middle of a threshold. They hide in these hard corners, whether it be far right or far left. Okay? So, because we know that when we cleared this side, right, we didn't see anything. We're not getting any audio cues from anything in this corner. Okay? We cleared. Shot. Boom, boom, boom. Shot this guy. No auditory information from this right side whatsoever. Okay, we attacked the 90. We panned over. Still not hearing anything from either side. You're going to want to gamble at this point. Now, there's two ways you can do this. You can do it the deliberate way, or you can do it a little dynamically. Dynamic it's going to give you more speed at the cost of processing information. So it's really all up to you. So I'll show you both. Okay? So let's do the deliberate way. Right? So deliberately, we're going to take, deliberate just means slow, methodical clearance. You're taking your time with it. You're not in a rush. Dynamic is more speed and violence of action. You want to get in here and attack these hard corners aggressively. So we'll do a deliberate first and then aggressive. So with the deliberate way, now that we know that nothing's run by here, right? And we've got two hard corners to clear, the one to the left and the one to the deep right, what we're going to do is attack the one on the right. Okay? We're going to come here and slightly enter the room, right? Notice I have not passed the door frame. I'm using the door frame as concealment, right? I'm not coming all the way inside the room and then I need to get a view of this angle. Why? Because this guy right here is going to shoot me in the back. But if I come here, limited entry, boom, into the door frame, right? Boom, I'm still covered by the door frame, right? Still covered by the door frame, concealed by it. I can attack this hard corner. Boom, take out that guy. And then at this point, I've fully cleared the right side. So there's no more need to focus here. I'm going to immediately hit a 180 and then attack the other hard corner. That's the deliberate approach. Okay? That's the deliberate approach. It's slower, but it's a lot more safer. And when it comes to solo CQB, I always prioritize the deliberate approach over the dynamic approach. Now, this would be the dynamic approach. Okay? So, your same information, you're starting from the same position, but you're attacking this more aggressively. Okay? Very poor aim, but you kind of get the gist of it. All right? These you want to combine with the use of a flashbang or some sort of distractionary equipment. Because then it gives you the opportunity to attack these targets in quick, aggressive manner. The deliberate approach I prefer all the time, because as you take it slow, you take it nice and slow, you get in here, right? Let's say after the first shot, now you hear somebody yelling behind the door, hey, you know, what the fuck, or, oh, get that guy, or whatever the case is. Now you know. Now you have the information available to you to take out this guy. But with the deliberate approach, you're automatically exposing yourself, right? You're aggressively attacking this, but now this guy has view of you. So it's a battle of, you know, who's quicker in that situation. Or, even worse, it's a gamble, right? Who's to say there's two people in this room? Who's to say? There could be, I'm trying to drop light sticks because this one's running out. But let's say this guy is the guy in the room, right? There is no guy in this corner. And as I aggressively attack, boom, this corner's empty, and now my back's been exposed for 2-3 seconds, and I'm getting shot up. Or vice versa. You decide to take this one, and there's a guy here, but now you're getting shot by this guy. It's a gamble. Deliberate is a higher gamble, or excuse me, dynamic entry is a higher gamble than deliberate. And I would only do dynamic in the case of hostage situations, or if there's bombs, so time-sensitive situations. If there's hostages that are being kind of held that need saving before they get executed, you need to do it dynamically if you feel like you have the time. If there's bombs that need to be defused and there's enemies in here being held hostage, dynamic entry is kind of the way to go. So definitely carry a flashbang or two on you in the event you need to go dynamic in those certain situations. But I would say most times, 95% of the time when you're doing solo CQB, you want these entries to be deliberate. You want it to be nice, slow, and methodical, because here, look, you can gather information at a good pace. But when you're going here, like Call of Duty style, super slick, now I've exposed myself to 1, 2, 3 enemies, okay? But if I'm over here deliberately clearing the room, boom, that's one down. Okay, check that corner over here. Got this guy. Bang. Still haven't exposed myself to this guy. Bang. That's the deliberate approach. That's the idea of it. So when you're doing solo CQB, please make sure, take it slow. There's no rush. You have no teammates to rely on, no teammates kind of pushing you to go faster. The only reason you would go a little faster is in the event that there is a hostage situation or a bomb situation. Those are the only two times I recommend dynamic entry over deliberate, because they are time sensitive, and you know, you need to eliminate threats or get rid of these defuse the bombs as quickly as possible. So if you guys like the video, I try to keep this as simple as possible in this video. If you have any questions, please let me know. Don't be shy. Feel free to hit me up on Discord at @TheIconicKnight_. Follow me on TikTok at TheIconicKnight, and on Instagram at TheIconicKnight_gaming. You already know, as always, man, if you like the video, smash the like button. I'm going to be releasing more of these videos. Subscribe to the channel. You know, I'm going to get a little more active on stream. I've been a little inactive lately, but we're going to get back to it after this weekend. My son's birthday party will be over, and I'll be able to get into gaming once again, go back on stream and all that good stuff. So, you know, just stay along for the ride, man. Stay along for the ride. I'll get more consistent for you guys, I promise. But you already know, as always, man, I love you. Jesus Christ loves you. God bless you all. Peace.